Hello everyone, Richard here again. Today I'm going to review a very nice flashlight I bought from Amazon. It's called the Ultrafire 1000 lumen Wf-502, and it says Cree XM-L T6, and it's a 5-mode flashlight. And you can either use it as just a regular flashlight or a torch, or you can mount it as a tactical light as well. Let's say that this light is extremely bright. Okay, I don't know if it's 1,000 lumens or not, but from 3 feet away, you stare into this puppy, and you're going to be seeing spots for quite a while. Okay, so it's plenty bright for a tactical situation. I'd say inside the home. Outside the home, I'd say it's pretty good as well. I mean, it's bright. It's gonna, whatever you're looking at, within, I'd say 20, 30 feet, you're gonna see it no problem, because this thing is bright. Okay, this comes with a special battery. It's called the it's a 18650 battery. Okay, it's a 3.7 volt lithium. So just so you know, this does not take AA's. It takes a special battery, the 18650. Okay. Now the kit I bought with this light comes with 2 of those batteries and a charger and the light for under 20 bucks. So that's a pretty excellent deal as far as I'm concerned for this flashlight. Let's see. It does come with a belt clip, as you can see, but it can be unscrewed and taken off. I would suggest if you do unscrew it, to take it off, that you put the screws back into the casing to, seal up the casing as much as possible. Now, it doesn't say it's watertight. It says it's, water resistant. Okay, but I'm going to test that. I'm going to test the water resistant stability of it. I think it's pretty well watertight, but I'm going to take all the guts apart out of it before I put it into the water. I don't want to ruin the electronics. Okay, really, all I'm going to test is the outside penetration of water into this flashlight. I don't think I'm going to have any problem, because I've already taken it apart down to its bare bones, and I see that it's built pretty well for waterproofing. But we have to test it. The flashlight weighs 3.7 ounces empty. With the battery, it weighs 4.8 ounces. Okay, so if you're worried about weight, that's how much it weighs, and it's if you're going to be mounting it on a gun, it's going to add that much weight to your gun. What else can I say about it? That's about it. I guess if you do want to mount it on a gun, you got to take the clip off. And what I'm going to do next is totally disassemble this flashlight. I'm not, as far as brightness goes, maybe I'll do some night shots there so you can see what it can do. But I'm more concerned with its actual construction. So I'm going to totally dismantle this, except for the electronics. The electronics are going to keep together. And show you all the parts that go into it and the quality features, pros and cons of this nice little flashlight for under 20 bucks. Can't beat it with a charger and 2 of these batteries. Awesome. Okay, so let's take it apart. So here we have the Ultrafire Wf-502b. There's a 501 as well. But this is a 502b. Please note that they're not the same. They're actually different construction and different brightness. Okay, so I'm going to start taking this thing apart in stages. I'm going to start with the rear cap. Now it comes with a slight bit of a lubrication on the actual threads. I put some moly on it, so it actually comes apart really nice either way. So there's the end cap. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let's see if I can get it closer for you. There is an O-ring on it to seal it, which is a great thing. Here's the body. So take the body apart. The dimensions and specifications are going to be in the description if you want to see them all. There's the body. Nothing really fancy there. Note also, on the 501B, the threads are on the outside of the body, on the back. On the 502B, the threads are on the inside of the body. Okay? So the end caps are different. Okay, yeah, I better look at the end cap there. Push button on the back, note on the front there. Okay, and then we go to the lens. Now, just to tell you all, it's not, you can't focus this beam. This beam does not have a lens on it. It just comes apart. You can unscrew it and tighten it, but that does not change the focus of the beam. The beam is a fixed focus. Okay, so we have the second end cap to the tube. Then we have the light element. Take that apart here, which just basically screws together to the lens right there. Get a better look at it. There's your lens, highly polished, nice little lens. Here's your light fixture. It basically screws into that. Nice. A little O-ring there, but I put that O-ring there. It really doesn't serve any function. I just put it there. It didn't come with a light. You don't need it there either, as it doesn't serve any function at all. So far, there we go. We got, oh, I forgot to mention on the actual tube again, another O-ring to seal it. And on this tube, well, actually this tube doesn't appear to have one. Put that back down here. Okay, as you can see, oh, sorry, I'm mistaken. This tube actually does have an O-ring on it as well. So each section is sealed by an O-ring so far, okay? The internals don't need to be sealed with an O-ring. They're sealed by the externals. There's your lens. And here's the lens cap. And it screws into that, and you can see between this piece, the end cap, and this end cap, there's an O-ring to seal it. The lens itself is glass, so depending on who you are, that's a plus or a minus. I find it easier to clean glass without scratching it, but it will scratch, and it can break as well if you hit it hard enough. So that may be a minus for you, but it's you know, a nice clear piece of glass. Next, we're going to take this little inside ring off and take the glass off. See how that's put on. I'm having a problem getting some traction on that. Okay, I've got the grease off that inner circle, and basically all you do is you put some pressure on it and turn it counterclockwise, and the lock ring will come off. I said I'm impressed with the construction of this little flashlight. Okay, there's the lock ring. It's threaded lock ring, and goes in this way. You see there's a little notch on the bottom there. Let's take a look at the rest of it. There's your piece of glass. Real nice lens on it. And inside, another quality feature is that you have right there an O-ring. So that lens sits on that O-ring, and then that secondary sealing ring screws in and pushes it up against that O-ring, which seals the lens up. So all the way through the construction of the flashlight, you see O-rings to seal every stage. Okay. So next, we're going to take the back off of this. Actually, take the switch assembly apart. There's a retaining ring on this as well. It's around the outside surface. I don't know if, let's see if I can get it. And there's two little dimples in there to give you traction on that ring. So I'm just going to use a watchmaker screwdriver. I'm using the Phillips head on it. And you can use a center punch or something anyways, but just unscrews like this. And another retaining ring comes off. No O-ring between it and that part, but it isn't required there. Next you have the housing, the switch housing, which if you try and push it from the back, it's not going to come out. So what you need to do, as you see, there's a thread there for the retaining ring. Well, the plastics for the switch housing are being held in by that. So I'm just going to use a little pair of needle nose. Don't grab it too tight, it's plastic, and just twist it out. once again, you see that this cap has an O-ring on it as well. I'm actually interested to see what happens when I water test it. I'm thinking the only place that I'm going to have a problem maybe is in the clip. The screws that hold the clip go through the entire case on that body of the flashlight. Well, there's the electronics. They do come apart. You see a spring in there, and well, I don't want to take too far apart on that. It really is not all that important, so I'm going to put that back together again. Put that down. Then you have another ring, and that ring holds the rubber tight against the body of the cap, which I'm thinking will seal the end of the flashlight. So, as I said, I'm going to take it apart, put it together without the electronics, and water test it, because I like the battery. I like the flashlight. It's not claiming to be waterproof, but I suspect it's going to be pretty good. I'm only going to put it down maybe a foot at the most. So there's the end cap, the rubber cup around the switch. It's a 5-mode flashlight. All those specs, like I said, are going to be in the description for the flashlight and the charger that comes with this kit. It's a pretty cool, good deal as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so there we go. That's the entire flashlight. I'd say almost completely dismantled except for the electronics, which really you don't need to take it apart. As key features, O-ring to seal the caps every step of the way. Nice features, including the lens. The lens has an O-ring between, right at the very bottom here, between it and the retaining ring that holds it down. It all screws together too, which is very, very nice. So next I'm going to put it together without the electronics, without the lens actually. I don't think we need the lens in there. And I'm going to dip it in some water and see what happens. Well, this is not very scientific, but scientific enough. I'm going to fill this pot full of water and see if this flashlight actually is somewhat watertight. It's only 9 inches deep, but then again, if it can survive 9 inches, I'm pretty happy with that as far as water resistance goes. Again, note that I did grease all the threads and all the O-rings on this flashlight. Okay, so, and the guts are out of it. I put a couple of sockets inside of it just to weight it down, keep it at the bottom of the pot. So let's go. It's been about actually 20 minutes now, and I've had the flashlight submerged in the water from 9 inches deep. Like I said, it's supposed to be water resistant, not waterproof, so I don't see any bubbles coming out of it, so we'll take a look and see where we're at with that. See if there's any water internally. Alright, I'll take it over to my desk and we'll have a look inside. Okay, I gave it a shake, and now I see some water inside. Very little though, and like I said, it's not meant to be waterproof, it's meant to be water resistant. So, you know, that's to be somewhat expected. Alright, on further analysis, the actual leak occurred between this O-ring right here, which is very, very thin. It barely comes up off the surface actually. You can barely see it, but you can feel it just a little bit over the surface. But when you put them together, you can see that there's a lot of clearance in that area. So that O-ring, as you can see, lots of play there, is not really sealing that cap. The threads are probably the only thing that's sealing that cap, and not very well. Okay, so I mean, a probable fix for that would be a slightly fatter O-ring. Just put a slightly bigger diameter O-ring on that, and it was sealed. But like they don't advertise this to be a waterproof flashlight, and you know, I don't expect it to be a diving light, but it can take some water. you know, can't leave it submerged for any period of time because it will leak. And when water gets on electronics, especially while they're live, it's not a good thing. So I would suggest if you're going to make it, you know, if you want waterproof, this is not the torch for you. But I think I'm going to try it myself. Put a wider diameter O-ring on, like a thicker O-ring on that seal, and I'm sure it'll fix it. Okay, so let's put it back together again. Reflector, I see some water on that. Get it off. You want to dry this totally off before you put it together again. Thought I had it all. Anyway, reflector into the cap, right like that. The lamp actually screws into the parabolic reflector, so we'll just do that right now. There we go. Nice. That would be super tight. It's got a nice design. I like the lamp, and I think for 20 bucks or under $20 you just can't go wrong. Now I'm going to mount it on my home defense weapon, as I know it'll do a good job. Battery in. Next is the end cap. The rubber cap didn't let any water in. I didn't see anything around it when I took it apart. Like I said, the only place I saw it was between those two pieces, the lens cap and the body. Okay, so put that rubber right at the bottom. That. It's a little ring. Basically seals that rubber against the bottom of the cap. Your electronics. Just best to screw those in. Though they don't even have threads on them, I'll show you. There are no threads, but it's tight enough that you need to screw them in. Oh no, I'm pushing them in. They went in a little bit, being pushed in. So let's screw it up. Screw it in, I mean. Screw it up. Because you need, you know, the tighter that is against the bottom button, the better. I know the chassis will help to squeeze that down, but there are your circuitry's in this little white. Your switch technology is in this little white thing. Next, retaining collar or ring, whatever you want to call it. Just using my little screwdriver to drive it down. Nice and snug. Good enough. I'm going to be crazy with it. And show you the modes. You really can't tell how bright this is, but it is very bright. It's even hard to look at the reflection on the paper with my eyes. That's a lesser mode. Sorry, there's the lesser mode. Strobe. Like I said, it's hard to look at that. The reflection's even hard to look at. SOS mode. And back to normal mode. Beautiful. Okay, now I'll do some nighttime shooting inside the house with no lights on, and you can see how bright it actually is. This room is lit up with a 72 watt bulb currently. Unfortunately for us, the camera is very good in low light situations, but I'm going to show you the difference between this 72, and what this 502b looks like at night. So let me shut the normal light off and we'll turn the flashlight on. So as you can see, it lights the situation up pretty well. On the wall, I'd say I'm about 12 to 15 feet away from the wall, and I'm seeing a center beam of about 6 feet. Basically, if you're going to use this as a gun light, it's going to light up the room pretty well, and you'll be able to see everything in it without much issue at all. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to show you the modes. There's the first mode. I think that's slightly dimmed. That's even more dim. Yet it still looks pretty good. There's the third dimming. Strobe. That's a lot harder to cope with than probably what it looks like on video, but it's strobing. There's the SOS. And back to regular light again. I just figured out that if you just lightly touch the switch, it goes to the functions as well. You don't have to press it all the way down. So, very impressive light. More than good enough, I think, for inside your house to light up the situation if you need to see something that goes bump in the night. Thanks for watching.